Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenny McGee, and I'm an instructional designer in the e-learning division at Camden County College. And we are going to be doing a brief session today talking about putting files and pages into your online course. So looking at the differences, what their limitations and capabilities are. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get right into Canvas here. And I do, as always, want to point out the Canvas Faculty Hub. If you have not been in there yet, there are lots of great resources in here on all types of different topics that have to do with teaching online, building your course. There's information on how to use the files and the rich content editor, as well as the pages, and as well as many other things. This is also where you can find recorded webinars that we've been doing so far this fall and even past that. So this is your resource center for anything that has to do with Canvas and teaching online. All right, so I am going to start here with looking at files. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on my sample course here. Now, the one thing that I want to point out before we even get started looking at files is that it is recommended and best practice to have your Files tab hidden from students. So the Files tab is really just meant to be clicked on by the instructor. It's not a place really that is friendly for organizing things for your students. So if I click on my Files tab here, you can see it puts things in alphabetical order, and that's not generally how we want to organize course content. It's usually by topic or by chapter, whatever the case may be. So we really don't want students to have to click on the Files tab and search through this whole list of things to try to find that one PowerPoint or the one Word document, whatever it is that you want them to access. So while modules isn't the main topic, everything goes back to modules. Well, most things in Canvas go back to modules at some point. So I do encourage you to hide your Files tab, also hide your Pages tab, and that way students will need to access all of your content through the modules. So just to quickly show you how you would do that, you would click on your course settings, and then you would click on navigation. And now you can drag anything that you don't want students to see or that they don't need to click on down below this line. So this here, I would say, obviously, if you don't use Connect, that's not something you would need to put up, but whatever textbook, if you have one that's going with the course, that could go in here. And these other items could as well, but this really is all you might need. You really don't need to have any of these other things, maybe the syllabus as well if you're putting your syllabus in there, but the rest of these things don't need to be visible to students. So I'm going to start first just by showing you the Files tab and just talking a little bit about what a file is. So a file is going to be something that is created externally outside of Canvas and then uploaded into your course. Files are usually something like a Word document, a PowerPoint, a PDF, a GIF, that type of thing. So you're creating it not within Canvas, but externally. So because of that, you cannot edit files within Canvas. If you created it with PowerPoint or Word, you've got to edit it within PowerPoint and Word. So this comes up once in a while from someone who is maybe newer to Canvas or hasn't used it in a little while, and they're trying to fix their syllabus or change their syllabus from last semester, and they pull it up and they're in the syllabus trying to make changes to it. Well, that can't be done. You actually would need to come up to the top, click download, download a copy, open it with Word or whatever software application you use to create it, and then you can make those changes and re-upload it. Keep in mind that if you upload a new copy of an item, you will need to replace the other item in the module. So you have to make sure that the module is still not linking to an old version of that file. So just a couple quick things about files. You do have limited file space in your course. So everybody has about 1.5 GB per course of storage space. And that's a lot if you're just uploading PowerPoints and Word documents. But if you are uploading videos, that fills up pretty quickly. So we recommend if you are uploading recordings of your Zoom meetings or something like that, we recommend using an external hosting site like YouTube for those, because that way you're not using up your storage space, because we can't increase that storage space. The other thing that I want to point out is that you do have 2 different types of files. So if you click on your account here, you will see you have files listed in your account menu. These are files that are not associated with any particular course. So these are going to be files that are just your general files. So your profile picture, sometimes I will use this file storage space as a way to just store a document that I know I might need to access later, or something that I need to pull up, just not associated with the course, but that I just need to access. The thing that I caution you about these files, though, is that you only have you've got about 500 megs of, or I'm sorry, 50 megs of storage space in your My Files space. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot of space that you have. And you can't, again, we can't allocate more space to you. That is set by Canvas. So use this sparingly. You've got a lot more space in your individual courses than you do in your My Files area. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if I click on a course, and I'm just going to go back into that sample course that I had. Let me click back here, and I'm going to click back on My Files tab. So right now I'm viewing the files just for this particular course. And when I upload something to my course, so for example, an image that I'm wanting to put into, let's say, a page or something like that, and I'll show you that a little more specifically when we get into talking about pages, but I want to make sure that I am storing everything in my course files. That means that that will be using up this course storage space and not my personal storage space in Canvas. So with my files here, I can view my files from one of my courses, or I can come down here in the bottom right and click on all my files, and that will allow me to view all my files, my personal, my files storage, but then also all of the courses that I've taught that I have access to. And I can click on any one of these and pull it up, and I can find any of my files. Now, the nice thing about the way that Canvas uses files is that it shares files among courses. So if there's a file that you are using in multiple courses, it doesn't make multiple copies of it. It just links to a copy. So what I mean by that is if I pull up this course here and I say, I'm using this chapter 6 Word document in another course as well, I can actually just take this file and I can just drag it and drop it into another course. It doesn't get removed from this course, but what's happening now is if I pull this course up, I have that file here as well. So that's another way that Canvas helps to save space, is that it's linking to a file among multiple courses as necessary. One other thing with files is when you are looking at uploading, you can upload directly to a module, or you can upload to your Files tab if you need to upload multiple files at one time. So if I go back, right now I'm in my general files view. If I go back to my course here, well, this is a different course. Let me pick up my original course that I was in. If I click back on my Files tab, I can click the Upload button in the upper right-hand corner, and I can select as many items as I need to by holding in Control. And then I can just drag and drop these into my course, and it'll upload them all at one time. One final thing just about files in general, when you copy your course, you replicate your course from one semester to the next. So let's say I was going to copy this History 121 over for the spring. Even though this course obviously has files in it and it's not at 0 storage space, when I copy it over, the copy is going to start out with 0 storage space used up. So again, it's linking to the files that already exist. You're not starting that new course, the new semester, with most of your storage space already used up. You're starting kind of with a blank slate. It's only going to really count against your storage quota anything that you add to that course that didn't already exist in the previous course. So if anyone has any questions about anything that we've gone over so far, it's just kind of some general files information for you. Canvas's file storage is really complicated. I've actually had to do a lot of research to kind of straighten it all out as far as what files go where and what counts toward your file storage and what doesn't. But that's kind of just a general way to think about it, is that files are being shared among courses and it's not counting against each course individually. All right, so very quickly, when you want to add a file to a module, I'm just going to click on my modules here. So I'm going to click this plus sign, and from my drop-down menu, I'm going to select File. If it's a file that already exists in my course that I uploaded already to the Files tab or to a different module, then I have it already here. Or I can click New File and then choose Files, and then select the individual file that I want to add. And it's going to put it right there in my course, in my module for my students to access. So if there aren't any questions about files, I'm going to go ahead and move on to pages. So pages are similar to files in that they are a source of information for students. But the nice thing about pages is that they are created within Canvas, which means that you can edit them within Canvas. So if you, instead of uploading a Word document that contains your syllabus to your course, if instead you copy a Word document and paste it into a page, then you can edit it every semester as needed. The other great thing about pages is that they are a way to show media to your students. So you can use these as a way to present lots of different types of media. So in your pages, when you click on your pages tab, you're going to want to click the Add Page button. Now, the one thing that I want to show you here, so this is your rich content editor, as we call it, that if you've been using Canvas, this should look very familiar to you. This is actually going to be changing at the end of next month. So at the end of the year, there's some pretty big changes coming to the rich content editor. As far as the way it looks, not so much as the functionality of it still works pretty similarly. But I'm trying to let people know this as much as possible, because the rich content editor is not just in pages, it's in assignments, it's in quizzes, it's in the syllabus, discussions, announcements. You see this same rich content editor tool set all throughout Canvas. So I'm hoping that we can get the word out. There's information about it in the Canvas Faculty Hub as well, so that people aren't completely floored when they start getting ready in the spring in January and they take a look and this does not look the same anymore. So the other thing that we've done is that we've set it up so that it's possible now, if you want to go ahead and turn on the rich content editor in one of your courses so you can play around with it, you can go ahead and do that. Again, Canvas is making it not an option. They are turning it on for everybody, the new rich content editor, at the end of the year. So we don't have a choice in that, but what we can do now is give people a choice of turning it on early. So if you go to your course settings, and up at the top, we were just in navigation, we're now going to click on feature options. So feature options, you're going to scroll down just until you see this RCE enhancements. Come over and you're going to turn that on. You'll see a green check mark. You'll know that it's on. Again, this is only just going to be for the one class. If you want it on for all your classes, you have to go in and do this in all your classes. And by the way, I wouldn't recommend, if you are playing around with it, I wouldn't recommend doing it in a class that has students in it currently, because it will change it for them as well. So if they're doing an assignment where they have a text box to type in, if you turn on this RCE enhancements for yourself, it's going to enable that for them, and that could throw them a curveball. So I would recommend, if you're playing with it, you can start a new course yourself or create a sandbox or something to play around with it. So let's go ahead back in the pages and let's take a look at what our new rich content editor looks like. So I'm going to click add page again, and now this looks pretty different. Again, the functionality is pretty the same. There's a few additional things that they've added and one thing that they've just kind of changed, but as far as the main basic things that you could always do, you still can. I think what maybe they're trying to do is make it look a little more like a Word document or a Google document with these menus here. So we're going to look briefly at the items that are in these menus, and then we'll look a little more. The same exact items are basically found in two places in the new rich content editor. So with this first item with the edit, you now have an undo and redo, which is nice. You didn't have that in the old rich content editor. So if you make a mistake or something, you can undo it. You also have the cut, copy, and paste here, which you didn't have before. We had to use Control-C and Control-V or right-click. And then here, you also can make, in the View tab, you can make this full screen, which is nice. So if I click full screen, so if I have a large piece of text that I'm pasting here, or I've got a whole lot of typing that I'm doing that I'm putting in here, you can make it full screen so you're not working in such a small box. I'm going to go ahead and click View here and just click full screen again to take it back to the smaller size. You also, if you click on this Insert menu, this is where you will insert all your different items. And I'm actually going to go over those more in detail down here, the different items that you can insert. The one thing that I do want to point out, though, if you're noticing the difference, one major difference from this content editor to the old one is that you used to have your content selector over here on the right-hand side where you could link or select items that are in your course. So you could link to a page or put a file in there. And that still exists, but it's now you have to actually click on link here and click course links, and then that will pull up that content selector on the right hand side. So it's kind of nice because if you're not using that, it's not taking up all that space anymore, but you just have to kind of remember where to find it. So this is one place where you can find that. And then this is all of your other types of items that you can insert. And I do think it is a little bit more user-friendly if you're just trying to put a document in, because it says right here, document, which is a little different than the way it used to work. If you use equations, if you're a math instructor. You have your same equation tools that you had before. They're just found within this insert table. And then you've got your other options here. You can now insert a horizontal line. And we'll look at some of these other options as well when we get down to this row. Format has some new features, which is nice too. You've got all of your text formatting. So we had this before. You could bold and highlight. You can also do your superscript or subscript. But now you also have got different fonts. So before you pretty much just had one font. I don't know what it was, but there wasn't really a way to change it before. So now you've got not a ton, but a lot more than one. So that's nice. And you can do text color now too, which is nice. That wasn't a possibility before either. And you can do a background color as well. So you have a little bit more room to be a little more creative. Just always keep in mind when you're talking about text and background colors that you make sure you have enough contrast so that everyone can read it, even if they have color blindness or other vision difficulties. This is new as well. You can do a word count, and this probably would be even more helpful for your students, because if they are required to provide a response to a discussion or an assignment that has a certain amount of words, this is an easy way for them to get a word count. Additionally, you will see the apps in here. We had these in here before, and once you add an app to your course, or once you select an app as being a favorite, it will show up in your little short menu here. You can also click View All if you want to see what all of the apps are in your list. So these are all the ones that are available. And like I said, once you click on one of them, it's going to put that in your menu. And then down here, these are your table options, which are similar, pretty much the same as what you had before. So let's go ahead down here. We'll look a little bit more closely. Again, these are all pretty much repetitive. So you've got, I guess it's just whatever type of a toolbar you prefer, whether it's this format or if you like to click on the icon. I kind of like this better just because that's how it was with the old rich content editor, and it's kind of what I'm used to. So I do like how the external links work. So this is, you used to have to type a phrase or whatever you wanted to make a link, whatever descriptive text you wanted to use for a link, and highlight it and then click the link and then put the URL in. Now, if I click external links, now I can put my link here and put the text that I want here. So for example, I'm just gonna get a link here. So copy registration link. This is actually for this webinar. So if I put the link in here, I can put up here, register for files and pages webinar. Click done. And now it's going to put that text into the page and turn it into a hyperlink. And again, we want to be mindful of the fact that there may be people that are using assistive technology in some of our courses that aren't going to want to have to sit there and listen to a screen reader reading that huge long URL. So instead, this makes it much more friendly. They can skip from link to link, and they can easily find out what the link is to based on the descriptive text that they're provided. This link also, again, this is where you would also get your links to other places in the course. So if I click course links, this is where I get my menu over here. So if you didn't know this already about Pages, this is something that is really cool about Pages, I think. And that is you can link a page to, and really any anything that uses the rich content editor, you can link it to anywhere else in the course. So if I was referencing another page here in this page and saying, look back at the chapter 1 study guide and the chapter 2 study guide to brush up for your midterm, I can just click on those pages in here and it'll insert them right into this page. I can also say, remind students to participate in the discussion, or I can direct them to a module. So you can really put links in a page or an assignment or wherever that will link to another place in the course. And it makes it nice for course design, and also if you're able to direct students in multiple ways to the same place, then better chances that they're not all emailing you asking you questions. You also have other options here. So if I instead wanted to insert a file, I can put a file in here and I can look in my course files and find all of my course files in here. So if I'm wanting to put a PowerPoint link in here, and then the other thing that you could do from here is you could upload a new file, and you can also filter what type of file. So it makes it a little bit easier if you are trying to find an image, or if you're looking for a document, so a Word document or a PDF or that type of thing, or a media file. So this has got some extra features to it as well. I also do really like what they've done with the images. So the way that it used to work was a little more confusing. I think it makes it a lot easier. So if you're wanting to upload a picture, you click on your little image icon here, click upload image, and it takes you to upload from your computer, which makes sense. It's not the way that it used to work, but the way that works now, I think, and I'm just gonna pick a picture and click submit. And now it'll put that picture right there in to my page. Now, if I needed to, or if I had an image that was already in my course files, I could pick that as well. And excuse me. And I also, if I had one that was in my files, I could upload that also. So, excuse me. So this makes it a little easier to upload images. If I want to record and upload media, this is where I can click the record button, and this will allow me to use my webcam and my microphone and record myself talking and put it into the page so that the students can see it. So this is our new way of recording and uploading media. It still works the same if you've ever used it before, but it just is found in a different place. This is where you can upload or insert a document that is already in there. So you're seeing there's multiple ways of doing the same thing. So if I wanted to, I can upload a document from my computer and find that document and put it into this page. And then additionally, here is your list of apps that you have available to you. You've got the YouTube app and the Vimeo and Khan Academy. Those are the ones that we have already in there for you. So the one thing that has changed that I don't really, it's not a huge deal, but I don't love. You used to be able to, with the rich content editor, if you had a YouTube video, you could use the insert media tool and just insert it using the URL. Unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore. If you do that, it will work. You can do it, but all the students are going to have is the link, and then they click on it, and it would take them outside of Canvas to the video. I'm just going to use one of our videos as an example. So if I click on this video here, you used to be able to, if you clicked on share, you could just get this little URL link and paste it into the insert media tool, and it would embed the video into the page. Now, and I'm hoping maybe this will change, now you have to use the embed code in order to embed it into your page. So you'll have to click embed and then click copy, and then go back to your page, and you're going to need to click on this little cloud icon and then just paste the embed code right there and click submit, and it'll embed it into your page. If you just put the link in there, it's just going to make it a clickable link. It's not going to embed the video. So that's one thing that's changed that I'm not 100% crazy about, but it's not that big of a deal. So as always, you would need to give the item a title. So I'm just going to say to-do list. And then you would, of course, need to save in a draft state or save and publish if you're ready for students to be able to see it. And then you would need to add it to a module for your students to be able to access. So are there any questions about the new rich content editor? Again, it's pretty similar in functionality, but it does look pretty different. But I do think it's pretty intuitive. I don't think that you're going to have to do too much searching around. I think it's pretty easy, and they actually have put items in multiple places. So if you're not finding it in the one menu, then you can click on the icon and access it. So the last thing that I wanted to show you with pages is what you can do with a page. So I'm going to use the Canvas Faculty Hub as an example because it's the only course I think I have set up like this right now. So for courses in our instance of Canvas, the default homepage is to take the students right to the modules. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that that is great, and it probably works just as well or better in most situations. But you also can use a page so that you have a home page for your course rather than just the modules listed. So for the Canvas Faculty Hub, this is actually a page, and I made this, and you can use something like this for a home page for your course. Now, the thing that I would caution you about is you still want to have in your directions or have clickable links that are going to take the students to the modules or take them to where they need to be. That's the only thing that I see that I think can sometimes be confusing for students when the modules are not the home page. Sometimes it's not really clear what the students need to do to get to the main content of the course. So if I go to my pages, and actually I think I need to turn on the new rich content editor for this course. So let me go ahead and turn that on here so we're not looking at something that looks different. So if I click on my pages tab, you'll see that same home page is listed here. So if I click on edit, what I basically did here was, let me go ahead and make this full screen. What I did was I have, a picture that I put in here, and these are actually just little, I think I made these in Publisher and just like made them as little images. And I was able to select the image and just click the link option. So I clicked on this, and then I went to my link and I clicked insert link. And so I had, if someone clicks on this resources item, it will take them to the modules. If someone clicks on this workshops and webinars item, it will take them to the list of workshops and webinars and the Canvas release notes. So this is a way that you could get a little more creative if you wanted to do something different than just have your students click and go right to the modules. But again, I do recommend either, even if you just have in big print, click on modules to begin or something like that. Or if you wanted to get a little fancier, you could create an image and make it a word and have it take them directly to the modules by clicking on that. Let me get out of there. So then when you have set up a page that you want to use as your home page, the first thing that you would need to do is find that page in your list of pages. So you click on your Pages tab, and let's see, where is my home page? In your menu over on the right-hand side, you're going to select the page. And I don't know where, let's see. I don't know where the page is, but we'll just pick a different page here. And so I'm just going to click on this page. So you can, on any page that you have, you can click your little kebab next to that page and click Use as Front Page. And that will make that page the front page. Anytime you click on Pages, you will see the page that you chose as your front page. There's still one more step though. If you want to make this your home page for your whole course, you need to click on the Home tab. And then over on the right in this menu, you'll see it says Choose Home Page. And you'll need to, instead of course modules will be chosen by default, you'll need to change that to Pages Front Page. And then click Save. And that's how you select an individual page to be used as your home page. So if there's any questions about that, let me know about how to set up a home page. I'll be happy to walk you through that. So at this point in time, that's all the information that I have for you today. If you've got questions about anything, the new rich content editor, files, pages, anything like that, feel free to go ahead and type that into the chat or question area, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. If you don't have any questions, and I just want to say thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. And there will be a recording of this webinar at some point. I'm a little behind getting those up, but you will find that in this recorded webinars section of the Canvas Faculty Hub. So if there aren't any questions, have a great evening. If there are, I'll hang out for a little bit so that I can answer any questions that you have.